Okay, a light workout for Piero this morning, not much asked of him?
No, you just did a three-quarter pace or just nice steady stretch and extend over about 1,200 metres, 6 furlongs.
Okay, how important is it for you to get off to a really good start with the Spring Carnival this weekend and perhaps even snaring a double win?
I think we've got off to a really good start, but let's see. I hope we can keep it going. I hope the momentum will keep going. You know, it's a long carnival. We've got 6 weeks ahead of us, so right up to Sandown. So there's a lot ahead of us.
Gay, were you even expecting how well the horse worked on Tuesday morning?
Yes, I was. Yes, he's really good, really good colt, and you'll see that in the Guineas on Saturday. And he's done everything at present, hasn't he? He's taken out the Triple Crown in Sydney, and he's only ever raced in stakes races too. He hasn't raced in a normal like a maiden or a normal handicap, as a lot of other horses have that I've trained anyway. He's only kept to the elite level. He's quite exceptional.
He's done everything he needs to do in Sydney. What about Caulfield? It's been the undoing of many Sydney horses.
It certainly has. But I'm backing him that he'll handle it. He handled the Valley, which I think is probably trickier than Caulfield. It's such a tight, dish of a course, and he handled that with aplomb the other night, didn't he?
History awaits Gay, but he's got a fair-sized target on his back, hasn't he?
Yes, it does. Yes, but I'm not going to think about it like that because he doesn't know that, and I hope Nash is not thinking about it. Nash should just go out and ride him,
Be quite a unique double, Gay, if he gets the Guineas. Why is it so hard to get both wins?
Well, I was thinking about it the other day. I think it's because a lot of the horses that win the Golden Slipper are a lot of them are real sprinters, whereas this horse's pedigree's quite dour. And if you go down to his third dam, I think won the Goodwood Gold Cup over in England. So, he's got a very dour mother line. And he's done an exceptional thing. When people looked at his pedigree and he won the Breeders' Plate, they said, there's no way he can do that. Well, he didn't know that. He couldn't read the book. And then he came out and won the Golden Slipper. And then he won the Champagne. And his two most dominant wins have been the Champagne and the race the Bill Stutt at Moonee Valley the other night.
Okay, what would it mean to you to get this boy and More Joyous to the line in really good shape, both of them for the Cox Plate?
Well, it'd be great if we could. It'd be great if we could get the trifecta there, because we've got Piero Poisier coming down from Sydney, who was only pipped by a very good horse on Saturday in the Spring Champion Stakes.
In terms of the big races, is this one of your strongest hands you've ever brought, or the strongest hand you've ever brought down?
Probably the strongest hand I've ever brought. God's blessed me that I've got a wonderful stable full of horses this year.
Okay, More Joyous, 60 kilos is enough to stop her?
No, I don't think so. I mean, she might get beaten, but it won't be because of the 60 kilos. She'll carry it easily. She's a great, big, really big, strong mare. I mean, you might have seen her going past this morning, and she's racing in great form. I know those set weight races for the mares are a little bit of a, they're not the real thing, I mean. But she's done it like a canter, hasn't she? I mean, she's done everything so easily. And I love seeing horses carry weight. I think that makes racing interesting. I hate it when they get in underweight for age and all this sort of kid stuff, It's really good stuff.
It's nice that Darley's bred you such a good colt.
It's very good, I'll tell you. I like that D with a circle on it very much so. But that's the job of a big stud. Darley's a big stud. A lot of people poke fun and say, they sold the best horse. If they knew it was their best horse, they wouldn't have sold it. I mean, if they could speak as yearlings, or as foals as yearlings, we'd all be geniuses, wouldn't we?
Okay, Piero seems like he knows what's happening. He's showing off to the cameras there. He's a real poser, isn't he?
Oh, he really is. But do you think of all the good horses and the different trainers you've interviewed over the years? They all know it, don't they? I go back and think of a horse like Gun Sin. I mean, Gun Sin would do a bow, wouldn't he? I mean, he'd get out on the racetrack and bow and that. And his father, Longrow, I was only thinking, with John Hawkes out in the middle this morning, we all rushed around, didn't we? Everyone rushed around to see Longrow because he was such a hot number.
When we speak of studs, obviously Piero's value as a stallion is going up and up and up. Do we need to make the most of seeing him while we can?
Well, look, the Colivos, Greg Colivos is a very sensible man, and look, he and his family are absolutely thriving and enjoying it, and have got an interest, a public interest that they never would have had in their by not having this horse. So once he goes to stud, that stops, doesn't it? And people knock, Peter Moody and his group go racing Black Caviar. But why wouldn't they? I mean, they've got a great mare. They love going to the races. They love seeing how she pulls the crowds to the racetrack. Look at Morfordville, 30,000 people. Normally there'd be 3. It was unbelievable. So, hopefully this horse will have the same pull power.
How long would you encourage him to go on then, Gav?
Oh, look, I love to see horses. I think the more a colt races, the more chance they've got of being successful at stud. I think the sooner when they go to stud far too early, which they do in Australia, and they don't have any exposure, and people say, who? Whereas when he's raced till he's probably 4 would cut him out. People say, oh yes, Piero is a really good horse. I really want to send my mare to that horse.
Yeah, you said before he won first up that you got a little bit nervous. Are there any nerves kicking in now that he's won his first major goals nearly here?
No, not at present, but if you guys hang around long enough, it will.
Is it, given the absence of Black Caviar, everyone is talking about Piero as perhaps the next big star of this year's Spring Carnival. Do you agree? How do you feel about that tag?
Absolutely. He might be the best horse we've seen in a long time. You know, so far he's starting to get a record like Tulloch. You go back and look through the record books, Waterhouse has done this at present. And he's only had 8 starts. He's only a baby. You know, he's a really, really good horse.
Speaking of records and the Guineas slipper double, is he a Vane or a Manakata?
Gosh, I hope so. It'd be lovely to have one.
If we look toward, I suppose, next weekend, Glencatter Gold, how hard was the decision to put Jimmy Cassidy on board there?
It was very easy.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put Jimmy Cassidy on?
Bit tough to
Proven
sell, Tom.
performer, come on. You get one chance at a multi-million-dollar race. Tom's done the job, and Tom's still learning and young. And as I text Tom yesterday, I said, you've got many Caulfield Cups in front of you. You know, I made a decision for in the benefit of the owners and the horse.
And Tom took it in his stride?
Of course he does. He knows he's on a good thing.